Integral Faith, compiled by Terry Kamick. I'm not sure I've had an original thought. Sometimes it just seems I'm putting together other people's better ideas into a context that makes sense to me. I try to give credit where credit is due, but if you think I've stolen your idea, let me know, and I will acknowledge. My wife and children think I'm diagnosably depressed. It is true that I'm melancholy at times and preoccupied. I can also appear anxious. I suppose if you start adding these qualities together, depression may be the diagnosis. I should Google it. I like to think of myself not as depressed, but restless. I'm restless for integrity. We need a way to find meaning in life that is consistent with the way we have come to understand the world. Our beliefs, words, and actions have to match, or we have cognitive dissonance. We are restless. You're probably restless too. If you haven't noticed, you're probably just too busy and preoccupied to look into the abyss. Or maybe in denial. Your desire to be well informed is currently at odds with your desire to remain sane. You prefer comforting lies over unpleasant truths. This is no superficial problem. It's a problem with depth. Problems with depth are spiritual in nature. My restlessness for wholeness involves my spiritual health. Spiritual health, or wholeness, is an elusive goal. It's elusive because we exist in a dynamic matrix where restlessness is a precondition to personal growth. Without restlessness, we are stagnant. We need a paradigm of spiritual health that allows us to live in peace with our restlessness. Restlessness is the engine that powers us toward wholeness. Without my restlessness for wholeness, I would be content eating chocolate extreme blizzards while binge watching Seinfeld reruns. To make it more complex, we are not alone. As our consciousness emerges and we add to our experiences, we have to reconcile our personal integrity with a larger context. We have to live as someone at some time in some place with others. I recognize my need for personal integrity as well as the need to heal our deep cultural divisions. Our spiritual health doesn't exist in isolation. We will never find personal wholeness if the world surrounding us is fragmented. Restlessness for wholeness is universal. Whether conservative or liberal, Democrat or Republican, religious or atheistic, at the heart of our existence is the longing to be whole. Are we right with reality? Is what we believe true? Is it beautiful? Is it good? Steve McIntosh describes that restlessness for beauty, truth, and goodness as value gravity. God is beauty, truth, and goodness. It isn't outside of our experience. It is our experience. We are not evolving toward a given outcome. We are ever creating a more perfect now. It's a dynamic, holistic process. It's a spiritual process. The social, emotional, cultural issues fragmenting our lives has its roots in spiritual health. We need an agreed upon overarching paradigm to contextualize the way all of us have come to understand the world. We need to get right with reality. We need an integral faith experience, a faith that recognizes the hidden wholeness beneath the broken surface of our lives. I've been thinking about this since I was about 12 years old. I remember asking my parents if my Catholic friends were going to go to heaven, an appropriate question for a 12-year-old searching for wholeness. I was left with the impression that Catholics would make it into heaven, but probably through the back door. Once in, they should be quiet when passing the room where the Reformed Protestants are because they don't think anyone else is up there. Funny? I realize it's an old joke, but isn't it just a little bit funny? If not, not good. A sense of humor is a prerequisite to a discussion about spiritual health. If you're humorless, you're a fundamentalist. There is no known path to wholeness if your heart only has one room. There is no known path to wholeness if you don't have a sense of humor. What is this life? What secret yearning governs it? There was a time I called its lavish longing God and talked and laughed and wept and battled by his side and thought that he too laughed and wept and strode beside me. But now I suddenly feel I've been talking to my own shadow. God is a labyrinthian quest deep in our heads. Weak slaves think it's the Isle of Freedom and moor close. All the incompetent cross their oars, then cross their hands, laugh wearily, and say, the quest does not exist. But I know better in my heart and rig my sails. God is wide waterways that branch through a man's heart. I'm extremely sensitive to the fact that all of us are in different places on our spiritual journey. In a perfect world, our spiritual journey is taking place in the least restrictive environment. But the world isn't perfect. Sometimes we need a restricted environment to live at peace in our circumstance. We need to walk back through the gates of Eden to escape the chaos of reality. There are many paths to wholeness and many reasons for why we are on the current path. Be patient with yourself and be patient with others. Assume good intention and be gentle with each other. A friend is one that knows you as you are, understands where you have been, accepts what you have become, and still gently allows you to grow. Semantics are critical when seeking to understand. What is faith? I have come to understand that it is not belief in spite of evidence. The earth is not the center of the universe. The universe was not created in 7 days. Noah did not save all earthly species in the ark. Moses didn't part the Red Sea. You cannot heal the sick by laying on hands. And this may be a deal breaker for some, but Jesus may not have been born a virgin, arose from the dead, and ascended into heaven. But be patient with me. Assume good intention. I have found on my own spiritual journey that if you release the story's need to be literally true, it opens up the possibility of greater meaning and depth. I'm a teacher by profession, so I have July and August off. I was having a conversation with my mythic traditional mom one morning while on break. She asked me what I was doing the rest of the day. I said that I was headed for the library to do some reading and writing about spirituality. She said, "You're not getting confused, are you?" This question was motivated by her genuine concern for my immortal soul. And infinity in hell is not what you wish for your youngest son. I reassured her that I wasn't letting go of the meaning of Christianity's redemptive story, but that Easter can be experienced every day if we understand the mystery symbolically. rather than literally. If you are a death, resurrection, ascension literalist, be patient with me as my narrative unfolds. Give an integral faith a chance. Faith allows us to let go of the outdated belief structures because faith is not belief in spite of evidence, but a life in scorn of consequence. Faith is mysticism. It's in plain sight but cannot be seen. It's never silent but cannot be heard. It is not lost but cannot be found. God is unknowable, the soul unfathomable, but the holy may appear in any moment.